Let's be real. Rebecca Sugar is a god. Her work on Adventure Time was already GOAT tier to begin with. And now that she has her own show, she's in a league all on her own. The purpose of this video is to enlighten viewers as to why I think this show is their masterpiece. And as such, I'll be spoiling basically every major event we've seen thus far. If you're behind on the show or a newcomer, give this episode a watch after you've seen the Steven Universe episode. That will be all. Without further ado, let's get started. Now before I go on, I'm just gonna let you know real quick that this video is dank as fuck, fam. So go ahead and give your boy a like, share, and subscribe before you forget. Nigga. I'm gonna be releasing more videos soon, and if you miss out, you're gonna feel stupid as fuck, fam. So get this shit over with right now. Steven Universe is littered with immense attention to detail. I don't think I've seen any other show so well thought up and conceived from the very beginning, until now. The first few episodes set up so much content that is genuinely impressive from a writer perspective. See that glowing pink bracelet in the corner? That's Connie's bracelet. She's such an important part of the show that she was included in the very first episode in such a cute and subtle way. See that dagger garage? That's the subject of a future episode, one of the most emotionally dense we've seen thus far. The cute and funny Cookie Cat song is in actuality the origin story of the Crystal Gems, done in the guise of a children's rhyme. That monster in the first episode has a cool design, but one would be forgiven if the viewer forgot it existed, especially since the show's first season follows a Monster of the Week format we've seen in so many other shows. But if one puts time into this show, they soon discover that the introduction starts off so generic and basic, only to flip that premise over on its head. That monster in the intro is actually a tragic figure, as is every other beast our heroes encounter. They are fully sentient creatures who, once their gems were cracked, became monsters incapable of speech. Like any good mystery, it is possible to find the answer before the reveal, but once the truth is out, it recontextualizes all the previous episodes in a very powerful way. Steven Universe is no stranger to this concept, as many of you already know. Remember when Garner was first revealed to be a fusion? It happened so long ago, but it was such a powerful moment, and most people who found out had no choice but to rewatch previous episodes with this new knowledge in tow. Now, Garnet is one of the most iconic characters of the 2010 era, and that wouldn't be possible without all the subtle foreshadowing they set up so early on in the series.
Oh, so because the show has attention to detail, it's the best show ever? What the fuck do you mean?
Calm your fucking tits, fam. I'm not even done yet. The show's character work is among the finest in fiction. Let's look at our main dude, Steven. The first episode presents us with one of the most The first episode presents us with one of the most empathetic and pure creatures to ever exist. His capacity to love is shown in a profound way, a way I didn't even notice on my first few watches. Steven Universe loves Cookie Cat so much, he buries the rapper with tears in his eyes. He buries an inanimate object and grieves over his loss. Now you'd be forgiven for thinking this is just a cute scene, but when we get to the 100th episode, and Steven is forced to use fatal action to defend himself, you realize the act of harming another living being is truly the worst possible thing Steven Universe can possibly experience. Even the problems in Steven Universe eventually makes way for one of the most powerful episodes in the series. Throughout the beginning of the show's run, we see the gems constantly downplay the little dude. They tell him he's not ready for missions, despite the fact that he literally saves the day in every freaking event the viewers see in their day-to-day lives. Seriously, in Fribo, my nigga Pearl is defeated by a blast of ketchup. It's okay to have Steven succeed time and time again, especially since we see him make mistakes all the time. In fact, the problem in Fribo is initially caused by Steven, so I get why the writers wanted to have him fix the error instead of the then ancillary support character named Pearl. By this point, Pearl and the Earthers are some of the most complex characters we've seen in modern animation. But early on, I strongly disliked how the writers neglected their competence for the sake of Steven's development. Oh shit. This story arc, alongside the cluster's disappointingly abrupt conclusions, are big problems with the show, and I hold them against the show even to this day. But I will admit, the former problem had formed one of the greatest episodes in the series. The Test. In The Test, Steven and the Gems are chilling looking for a new board game to play. While ransacking the closet, Steven comes across the Moon Goddess statue, an object he failed to bring along in the previous mission that had the Gems fail at their task. When Pearl lets slip that the mission wasn't as crucial as they made it out to be, Steven demands a new test. The test initially looks about as tough as Dark Souls 2 bullshit poison area, but eventually reveals itself to be easier than Kirby's epic yarn. The test was merely designed to boost Steven's confidence. The gems, as old and wise and powerful as they are, admit they don't really know what they're doing half the time. Steven is such a wonderful kind of creature, but they're doing the best they can to teach him and raise him to be the best he can be. Even after suffering some of the worst humiliation a growing man can receive, Steven acts like his stereotypical ignorant and cheerful self and says that the test was hard just to make them feel better about themselves. Steven is just a kid, but he has a tendency to be more mature than creatures that have lived more than 50 times his age. And that's maturity for your ass. Now, my final argument for the show's quality that I haven't already covered in previous episodes is the quality of the last Steven bomb. Seriously, these 5 episodes were just crazy good. I'll go by them quickly and just cherry pick my favorite bits from each one. In Steven's dream, the intro is godlike. It was very Adventure Time-esque, and the intrigue and mystery behind Blue Diamond's reveal was masterful. I love the for-the-wall bit of Greg seeing himself being drawn by the cartoon Rebecca Sugar. Now, anyone who knows film language knows that the color red is foreshadowing for death, and seeing the red flower and the red on Greg's shirt made me think my favorite cartoon Pops was about to bite the dust. It made the interaction between Greg and BD all the more exhilarating. Speaking of exhilarating, the spaceship and adventures in light distortion was a sight to behold. The fact that they squeezed in so much comedy here was really impressive to me, especially considering the consequences for our heroes should they fail. I love how creative the animators got with their coloring and layering when they were flying faster than light. It was definitely one of the most intense sequences I've ever seen or read, helped along by the beautiful script and Zach's superb voice acting. Seriously, man, you kicked fucking ass in this episode. Like, goddamn, dude. My heart was breaking for Steven as he and his friends were crushed by the ship's immense speed. Steven is such a badass now that maybe I forgot he's still just a kid. And hearing him cry out for his father, the only real biological family he has left, broke my soul. Damn, that shit was heavy than a bitch, I swear. Now, I don't have much to say about Gem Heist, but it was very well done, as were generally all the episodes of Steven Universe. The new characters had great designs. And of course, seeing Garnet separate is always fascinating. Sapphire is such a strong and smart person that when she gave them was just adorable as all hell. And Ruby was as endearing as always with her fiery passion. The 4th episode might be my favorite of the bunch. The zoo was such a fascinating concept, and it really delivered. Greg was at his best here, so well-meaning and likable with that relatable, lazy demeanor. I loved all the good-natured people Steven and Greg encountered. The voice work here was stellar across the board. One of them, Y6, was so cool to me. He wanted Greg so bad, but was genuinely happy for his homegirl when Greg was chosen with her. Now, when Greg rejected homegirl, he tried to go in and confess his feelings for Greg, but the ensuing rejection was finally enough to leave his heart broken. It was such a well-nuanced arc for a character that by all means could have been right away, but they treated him and everyone else there like full, living, breathing beings, and it really elevated the quality of the episode for me. My cat was scratching the fucking, his shit box, so that was that noise. In case you were wondering. The 5th episode was a worthy climax to the bomb. It was both gut-clenching hilarious and heart-wrenchingly horrifying. The song at the end was so well made in so many different areas. So much world building in only 2.5 minutes, while still remaining catchy and providing character developments for these grand new villains. The part that made my writer dick rock hard and inspired me to make this video initially was when Yellow Diamond picked up the pearls and held them on her hands like exquisite pieces of jewelry. That little gesture provided so much context and world building. I was just blown away, man. The pearls are supposed to be nothing more than musically trained servants, people you own for bragging rights alone. This made me fall more in love with our Pearl than ever. She's such a role-defined badass, I gotta do a video on her at a certain point. So is Steven Universe objectively the best show ever made? Nigga. Who the fuck am I to say so? You think I've seen every show that's ever been made ever? Fuck no, fam. It's all subjective anyway. Now, let's rephrase that question. Is Steven Universe one of the best shows I've ever seen and something anyone who breathes should experience? You're goddamn right it is. I can't fucking wait for the next Steven bomb. If it's as dank as this one, expect more SU videos from me ASAP. Also, keep looking forward to the next episode of the This Ain't Just for Kids War Trilogy. It should be out next week. It's gonna be about my nigga Finn. My nigga Finn. Actually, I lied. It's just gonna be about Adventure Time, not about Finn exactly. So, anyway. You know what the fuck I'm talking about? Check out the TeamSpaceLion YouTube channel. It's a collaboration channel with me and my friends. Those videos actually have production value behind it. So be sure to check those out. They're really fucking well made. Shouts out to my nigga Mike's the Prime. That nigga cool as fuck, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. I know what the fuck I'm doing, dude. But the video's about to end, dude. Yeah, dude. So if you don't know it already, I made a book called Nina and Minerva. It's about two women from opposing factions who fall in love after an alien invasion. It's somewhat of a cross between Romeo and Juliet and The Last of Us. If you think I know storytelling, wait till you read my original work. It's up there with some of the best fiction out there. Now, because the book is self-published, I'm raising money to get the cover art done and could use some financial support if you're willing to. Give me some. You can help me with that by checking out the Patreon account below. Anything you give will be fucking amazing. Yo, that's it for this video. I'll check you out later. Peace.